Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, back at it again. Yes, we are back, guys. It's me, Tamara, and thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of y'all who just continue to come back, continue to listen, no matter what the episode is about. Y'all rock with it. I appreciate y'all. And I have some special stuff for y'all because I done figured out, I found a sound app. So these episodes are about to be so extra going forward. Yes, because I have finally arrived to where I want to be. I have been wanting to be on the level of J-Boog and Autumn with their whole, fancy setup. We ain't there yet at all. Like I said, I found a sound app on my phone. Still grateful. Yes. Praise him.
Okay.
So, y'all might get tired of me, but I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but thank you so much for tuning in. New listeners, I appreciate you tuning in as well. New episodes generally drop on Thursdays, but this bonus episode is going to be out every Monday for the duration of us continuing this Youuuu series. So if you're not, you should totally follow me on social media. The link to my website. No. Well, yeah, that too. But my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok is in the episode notes. I am getting a little bit better at posting more TikTok content. It's coming. It has to be something that I actually want to do, though. I'm not one of those do something just for the sake of what's trending or whatever, because a lot of the stuff that be trending, I don't care about that. I doubt you will see me doing any dance challenges and, all that stuff. So it's going to be what's true to me.
I gotta be honest, TikTok has been because sometimes I can't watch the videos I be wanting to watch. I may have to sign up for it, but will I ever post anything? That is to be determined.
There's a lot of people that, like Kayliana, for example, she has a TikTok, but she never posts anything, but she just signed up so she could watch it. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Kayliana, who was supposed to be here, but is not here today. Stupid college.
I was so ready.
You know what I mean? College, she had to sign up for her classes, but we are going to get her on a future episode. We've been talking about it because she's the one that put me on to you. You know what I'm saying? But if you missed podcast happy hour, you missed a great night as always. And so the link to the replay will be in the episode notes. So check that out. Or I actually did an audio upload. I only do it for podcast happy hour. I don't do it for any of my other live shows. So if you want to listen to it, it's the episode right before this one. It's already uploaded. So yeah, Khris is here. Of course. Yes, she is. Yes. See, that's all I ever wanted was applause for my guest. However, this thing has so many different sounds that, yes, y'all will be hearing them as the spirit moves. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and get into this episode. Youuuu season 3, episode 5.
Into the woods, guys. And off top, I'm thinking, what the fuck has love gotten us into, right? When I just see the title, but we're talking about literal, guys. Yeah,
literally in the woods.
Yeah, we also find out this is 6 months later between episode 4 and episode 5,
which was kind of wild to me.
we're at the middle of the season. We gotta push some drama through.
I mean,
because we
did
just
we
tied
really
up our
need to?
we just tied up
Because
all of our loose ends. Like, what's next?
okay,
Like,
yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Because I was about
so
to say,
now,
I
like
mean,
after the
episode one.
tragedy, now you've got like people like rebuilding things and getting the trust back into their neighbors, things like that. So I get it. It was a nice transition, and 6 months later, who looks like they're best fucking friends with Sherry though? Like,
so let's go ahead and go there because
so
we
can
know
check off my Sherry dead by episode 5 because they're like best friends now. So.
I can't boo. I wanted her to be gone, and I can't stand that Love is best friends with her. But I guess we'll go to the whole Sherry Love thing. I like how we did that, where we kind of were like topical last episode. So that's actually how I did my notes this time. You know what I'm saying? Just because, I'm trying to stay in some sort of order. But anyways, first of all, Sherry as their photographer, like,
is there anything she can't do? Like,
is there anything that she doesn't have to insert herself into?
Like, that's what I meant.
Yeah, like, ain't no other photographers in the town. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. There's also when Sherry, she's taking the pictures, whatever they had going on with Joe's hair. I was just kind of like, okay, and his little,
you know what? I didn't even really. You're right. It was something like, what is? Yeah. That's why he was looking so miserable. Like,
I was not here for it. But what I noticed is that Sherry said, Joe, I like it when you appreciate me.
Joe, I like it when you appreciate me. That's how I just said it.
That was good. Which confirms where we discussed before, like her need to feel like important or needed, which then makes sense why her and Love are best friends now, because Love showed appreciation in the last time in the woods during the search party. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, because then we saw that she sent her the flowers, and now they're just best friends. Like,
yeah. As they're taking pictures, Joe is naturally uncomfortable, and she says something like, people don't want to see you looking like you're in a Zoloft commercial. Something about an antidepressant commercial.
She did say that.
And she was basically saying that Joe was giving off antidepressant commercial vibes, and we don't want that in our invitations to this birthday party.
Right.
She moves Love away from him.
Right. Talk about let's take Soul and the baby.
And the baby
too.
And then Sherry goes, because Sherry's all about vibes. So Sherry's like, the vibe's better over here, Joe. Like, and then Joe goes over to the new vibe section, and now they're taking pictures, and who does Love see that really changes the vibe of the picture?
Because did you peep how after she saw Theo and
Theo back
had a flashback of Theo and kissing her, then she want to be all up in her husband's face.
And then that immediately snapped her like, oh, this is the man I love. And she's like, smooching.
The same thing that Joe did after he came back from Natalie's house.
Damn, you're right.
Yeah, but it was so wrong for Joe that she killed Natalie, but it's okay for her. She got it under control.
The main part that you should take away from this episode is, like, if there was never an episode that Joe is really trying to like be normal and make his shit work, it's this episode. He's in a lot of the inner dialogue with himself is literally solely about that. Like, get over this, Joe. Like, this is not like we're trying to make this work. We're gonna be a happy family. You're gonna be a good husband, good dad. Like, that's what it is. Like, so just keep in mind, as Theo's coming back into town and Love is feeling how she be feeling about him, Joe is internally really, really, really trying to make this work.
So they're still in therapy. Yes. I love to see that, because I wondered if we were gonna see it anymore or if they were still doing it, because we hadn't seen any episodes or sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we found out that it's been 6 months, because they've been in therapy 6 months, and now they're down to every other week versus every week. So Love is like, hey, we're making progress. We don't need this as much. Love really seems happier as she is fitting in. And so they're at this point where they're trying to kind of like either stop or even that much more phase out of therapy. Joe is ready to be done. Love is kind of trying to be nice about it and kind of like not really say what she wants, but allude to it. But I think that it's good that they continue with that. But I also know that therapy is not always this lifelong thing. Like sometimes you only need it for a specific event or a
Right.
specific trigger or a specific like trauma that you go through. And then once you kind of sort through that, find the coping skills that you need, it's natural for them to want to, you know, not have to do this anymore. It really isn't something that you have to do for the rest of your life. So I thought that was just interesting that they brought it back, but then also kind of showed the growth and the progression because of Joe trying is why their marriage is still together. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
because of Joe. Uh,
Right.
yeah.
They did ask if, like, and I get it, like, because they feel like they're fixed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they're like, well, we only came here because we felt like we were broken, and now we feel like we're fixed. So what's the point? Like, why are we here still?
Yeah. And I mean, maybe
Um.
they could do monthly check-ins until they phase out. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many different ways that you can do this, but again, it almost seemed like the therapist wasn't, and I don't know if it's because she doesn't think they're fixed or
Oh,
whatever.
she like ignored their fucking.
Yeah, like you could tell
Yeah.
she's like, okay, yeah, I hear you, Love, but how do you feel, Joe? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and how's
Because
this and how's
she doesn't
that?
believe it. She's not
Right.
super convinced that they're done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh,
Um. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm just about to. I was just gonna ask, like, trying to figure out what happens next. So we're at therapy. Yeah, I forgot. What's on your time? What's on your
Okay,
timeline?
so we talked about Sherry, still
Yep.
can't stand her,
Yep.
but let's talk about, we're going to talk about Theo. Well, I guess we'll go
Okay.
here
Okay.
because
Okay.
Theo comes back. He's been away at school for 6 months, come
But
back.
has he even been doing school?
Right.
Because
And he hasn't really been away as far as out of Love's life. You know what I
right.
mean? Because what we find out is that he had been emailing her. She shut that down. So then when he would be drunk and couldn't drive or whatever reason he needed to her to save him, then she would send him Ubers so that he could get home safely.
Right.
And it's just interesting because what you see is when anyone tries to speak against Theo, like when Sherry did in the beginning, because Sherry can't stand him. And then she was saying, you know, he's troubled, he's this, he's that. And
Mm-hmm.
even when Joe tries to speak, not really negatively, but just kind of says
He's
he's
weird.
weird, Love ain't having it. You know what I
He's
mean?
not. He's a kid, and kids are
Right.
weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
be
Yeah.
nice. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's super interesting because I didn't realize. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't know they were still talking because we didn't. I mean, this is episode 5, and six
right.
months has passed.
And we thought he was gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting because so Theo fuels Love's need to be needed. 40
Yes.
is gone. 40 was
Yes.
the other person that she always needed. Joe, she
For
thought
a moment.
needed, yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
thought Joe needed her, but Joe really didn't. So Theo is this new person that fuels her need to be needed,
Yeah.
which
That's
is,
the smartest thing her mother said all season.
you know, I did have in my notes that Dottie wasn't wrong when she said that. That is not just this season, like any season she's been in.
You're
That
right.
is the
You're absolutely
best
right.
motherly advice, the only good motherly advice that she's ever given. But she was right. But to that point, Joe is no different. You know what I'm saying? It just shows more and
That's
more
true.
also in this episode
How
how
much they are alike.
similar they are alike, because that's why he's drawn to Marianne. We finally found out her name, because I
Nigga.
literally had Joe's boss at first and then he said Marianne. I was like, oh,
Old girl with the
okay.
pixie. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
love her hair though. Love her
it's
hair. That
beautiful.
was
It's beautiful.
definitely in my notes. But yeah, so that's why he love or is obsessed with Marianne, because he feels like she needs him. Like, but we'll get to her in a second. So back to
Yeah.
Theo. So love,
Are we at the part with at the bakery?
we can go wherever you want with Love and Theo, because Love and Theo are playing a dangerous game. Go ahead with the bakery.
Theo comes in with your classic, your boy's a homeless bum. Let me get some muffins. Like,
Some free muffins. Forgot my
right.
wallet.
Let me get one of everything for free, but I'm also a bum that never brings my wallet anywhere.
Right.
But like, okay, so he comes in and she's like, "Oh yeah, here goes some muffins for your studying or whatever," and he's like, about that."
Right.
Basically, I'm probably not going back. Like, that's not how he said it, but that's what I got from it. Like, probably not going back because I'm hella in love with you.
No, but seriously, because later
But
on
literally.
he says, "How can I study when I'm all I can think about is you?" Which
when I'm so damn in
so
love with you
unhealthy,
and
so
these muffins.
unhealthy. Right.
So and like the emotion that Love gives these conversations with this nigga is just so beyond me. Like, it's the and the it's so much, it's too much emotion. Like, you're really hella showing all of your cards to this little boy. But basically she's just like, "Oh, blah, 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 you didn't tell me," or whatever like that. And so I guess at that point she's like, well, I need to be the one to get him back on track. Like, that's kind of what I felt like she felt like as he was walking out of the bakery in that scene, was basically like, I have to get him back on track somehow, because that's my man and I love him.
Yeah, and because he needs me, because he doesn't have anybody else. Because Matthew is emotionally unattached. Natalie's dead. He doesn't have a relationship with his mom or his other stepdad. So it's like, oh, he has no one. Same with 40. She felt she needed to rescue 40 because parents off doing whatever. The para or babysitter or whatever she was molested him, and that's when she, and in this episode we're seeing a lot between her and Joe. Not so much her, because we kind of already know with Joe, but we are getting to see a lot of why Joe is the way he is as we continue to get more and more flashbacks of his childhood. But back to Theo and Love. Theo says that, which Love is different, but I really genuinely think it's just that she's happier and feels a little bit more settled. Henry's older. So like when you met her, she was the mother of a newborn, like just navigating that. She could have even had postpartum depression, not even to forget about the fact that she's still grieving her twin brother's death, who was murdered in front of her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you met Love when she was in a very traumatic state. Now she's getting a sense of normalcy. She has friends, which who doesn't want friends? You know what I mean?
Joe. Well, I mean, well, that's not true. We find out that's not really true.
Yeah. But she he made a point where he said, "You've changed." Is it and even Joe had said that in the beginning when they were doing the photo shoot, that Love changed. But is it really that she changed, or is it that she's kind of returned back to her roots, being that she grew up rich and trying to fit in? Like that's how
what I'm thinking.
Up. You know what I mean?
It's more normal for her.
That's what I think too. Having a photo shoot for a birthday party invitation, like you can't just go to Target and buy some, you know what I'm saying? It has to be this extraness and the party has to be all this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think it is. But it's interesting because she made a statement and he said, you've changed. And she said, that's not always a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And you got to watch out for them people that when you're trying to grow and elevate and whatever in life and, oh, you've changed. We're supposed to change. We're not supposed to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to continue to evolve. So they had the bakery, but that wasn't the last of Joe and Theo.
So we're talking about when Joe. Okay. So was that before or after? Should we talk about the woods first?
Well, if we stay on track with, because I'm talking about when they're on the scooter, so it's out of order. But I just want to close that story out.
Okay. About when Love and wasn't Theo was on the scooters and shit together.
Yep.
First of all, she's too fucking old. Let's start there.
Girl, not you calling him a little kid and then riding him with him on the scooter.
Riding off into the sunset on an electric scooter with this nigga though. Like, she's just really not act like her mother said, grow up. Like, she's just really not. I mean, maybe what he's awakening in her is a good thing.
It's so interesting that you said that. Because I had that in my notes that I said, it seems like Theo is good for Love. She seems accepted. She's coming alive and like having fun. We haven't seen that side of Love in a while.
That's what I'm saying. The problem is,
you know,
is the person that's giving you that feeling. That's the problem. And like, what is it about this little nigga? Like, what is it that he's giving you that you can't communicate to Joe? Like, because like, regardless of like how we know Joe is very like stuck in his ways, when it comes to like love and love in general, I think with Joe, like, I think that he has this immense like flexibility, like where he's willing to try anything, like, and so I'm trying to figure out what this little goofball is like giving her that she can't articulate to the nigga that's in her house. Like,
this is how I feel about it. danger, warning. Nigga, you know what I mean?
Warning.
Because they're on these scooters and they're having fun. And first of all, your husband already questioned you about what is going on with y'all. He even started doing a little bit of stalk or searching, as he likes to do. Yeah, research. There we go. And he's the one who found out she had been spending money on Uber, and that's how we find out that the Ubers were for Theo. You've already had all of this, but you're still riding around with this dude, and you're still on the scooter. Y'all fall off the scooter. Then he's telling you why he's not in school is because he can't stop thinking about you. Right. He says, do you want me to stop? She doesn't say anything until he keeps talking about his feelings for her. Then she says stop. He says no. And then she kisses
that's the fucking key point there, because all the other interactions she will swear to God that it was him doing it to her. So now we finally have an interaction between them two that she initiates contact.
She did it.
And they giving you Jason's lyric
in the woods,
white people's
right. And then she comes home, and then that's when Dottie calls her out on it it's just that he needs you. That's literally what it is that he makes you feel needed, and you need to feel needed for whatever reason. We haven't really learned much about why, but it doesn't matter. Dottie, in her one shining motherhood moment, called that out.
She said, have some red wine, girl, instead of a teen boy. It's a way better addiction. Like,
And again, teen, he's in college, so I don't want to make it seem at all like the episode is promoting. It's
like he's
still
16.
bad.
He
Yeah.
like 19, and
Yeah.
he act like it, and that's the
Yeah.
problem.
And
Like,
it's still bad because Love's easily pushing 30. Like she's
easily.
somewhere. I don't think they're quite 30 yet, but she's definitely close enough to it. And also, even if you were the same age, you are married. Like
Yep.
you killed his stepmom because of Joe's obsession with her. Why are you playing? Like, and
Why
that's
are we
what
here?
makes me, it's the hypocrisy for
Mm-hmm.
me that really just
Mm-hmm.
upsets me with Love with all of this, because you didn't have to kill Natalie. And Joe was upfront about it, is the thing too. You are lying and sneaking and
creeping. Like, look. So who's on the kill list next? But
which in my notes, I am very nervous for Theo because
so Joe because Joe got the Ubers now. Joe like already had his like suspicions because he Joe. Like, don't let him get an off day with Marianne and he decided to drive somewhere else. Like, park his car somewhere else and go on foot somewhere. Like, so, and it was a lot of Ubers. Like,
it wasn't just one.
You have to like, so there has to be a difference, right, between a concerned older adult and then somebody that's giving this nigga a dozen Ubers in a month.
I mean, it's all super unhealthy. It's all very, this is how entanglements come about. Like, how are you, quote unquote, trying to be there for someone and then crossing that line? And the thing about it is, you are almost like an authority figure, like almost like it'd be like a teacher or a therapist or somewhere along those lines, where it's even that much worse what you're doing when you initiated kissing him, and I'm assuming that they had sex. They didn't show it, but I don't think it was.
It was Jason's lyric for white people.
But what makes it even that much worse is because you're doing it under the umbrella of I'm just trying to help him. This is giving me very much Jada and August Alsina vibes, if I'm honest. You know what I'm saying? So very, very, very disgusting. I'm very disgusted with Love with this. You could have chose a grown man. It'd still be wrong, but at least it wouldn't be this. But when you have that need to feel needed and save somebody, it's probably going to be someone younger, which is, it's sad. But Theo better watch out, because Joe might cut that yard meticulously, but he will also get rid of you meticulously and nobody will find you.
He will cut you meticulously.
Right. Keep playing.
So, can we talk about the woods? Because this is like a really big part of the episode.
We are definitely, that was just about to say, do you want to talk about the woods? Did not know Sherry and Carrie, that his name was Carrie.
Nigga, I didn't either. And I was like, who the fuck is Carrie? Like, not Sherry's husband. It can't be.
Sherry and Carrie Conrad are their
That
names.
alone would make me be like, no second date, sir. Sorry. If I'm Christian and you're Tristan, like, we're probably, it's not going to work. There was a high school.
Tamara and I don't think
Samuel. Is that close enough? Tamara, Samuel? No, not really.
There's no comparison. There can only be one.
Tamara and Terrence. Tamara and Terrence? Okay.
I'm good on that.
Cool. Tamara and Samir.
I mean,
that's
not yeah, that's bad.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But yeah. Okay, so what's his name? Carrie? Carrie. Okay, Carrie has these like men retreats or some shits. Like, you know, it's a typical like white guy get your friends out in the woods and do weird white people stuff together. So
I was a little concerned if there was gonna be some. Okay, and when I say concerned because of the language that he was using to disguise, talking about our true impulses And then when he
Oh,
walked
do you
up
think it's supposed
on
to be some like
Joe,
Brokeback Mountain?
yeah, like rubbed on his chest and was like, "Do you want some more?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is happening?" Because
Wow.
yeah, I was a little concerned, and only mainly because
Everybody
you're
got wives back home.
yeah, like so you're disguising it as something else, and it's like this way talk about this saved my marriage. Oh, because you're out here, but that's not what it was at all.
You know what? That shit just hella went over my head. Like I definitely didn't, but I could now going back, I'm like, okay, I see how you got there. Okay, so he's like, Carrie's like, I got this like retreat or whatever, and then Joe was clearly like, nah, I'm good, bruh. And then Love's like, no, I think it'd be good. You should go, like, and you'll be back in time for the party. He's like, all right, fine, I guess I'll go. They go, and it's all of the guys that we've kind of met in the town, basically, like on different occasions, because we haven't met a bunch of people. So these are the guys that we've met so far, and they're on this retreat. I'm thinking it was hunting, but I don't know that it was.
Hunting mixed with therapy, mixed with
no degrees. Like, okay,
right,
cool.
right.
So the Asian, is he Asian? That guy, the gay guy? I think he's Asian.
I think he's half, if not like.
Okay, the gay guy is like, it saved his marriage, and like he comes out here and they can like really let loose and blah blah blah. So I'm like, what kind of weird shit is about to happen? Okay, so the most important part about this wood scene though is when Carrie and Joe are alone. Carrie goes and grabs a squirrel, still alive, and he's like, kill it, Joe. And Joe's like, I'm not doing that. I haven't stalked this squirrel. I don't know anything about this squirrel. I can't kill this squirrel. And so Carrie fucking just like crunches his fucking neck or whatever. And then he's like, all right, now you gotta fucking fight. Like, it was very like,
let's slow this down a little bit. Let's slow this. We have to unpack this so you guys can get the picture.
Okay.
They're saying that the point of it is it's about being a man, but also about having what I gather is like this breakthrough where whatever is blocking you from like being a man,
from whatever is stopping you from being a man in their definition.
Exactly. So Joe and Carrie for whatever reason decided that Joe was his like not partner, but I can't remember what word he used, but he's like, I'm not letting you out of my sight. We're going hunting. You can only hunt what you kill. Right. So if you don't kill this squirrel and eat it, basically you're going to starve. Right. So he does that.
Also, sorry. We just said how it's supposed to like ignite some shit in you and like bring back the man in you or whatever. Love has told Sherry about Joe's dick.
Which let's park this for a second and go there because I don't think we talked about. Joe is very bored with their sex life, and it's not satisfying love, obviously, because he's not into it. But he says, remember when we used to say I wolf you, and that made me so mad because I was like, please don't bring that back. Like,
I thought of you.
Please don't.
I love you.
Yeah, so they're having these problems in their intimacy, and she told Sherry, who then told Carrie. So,
which is why it was so mandatory that Joe goes on it, which is now makes sense at why Love was like, no, go ahead. Like,
yeah. So, Carrie brings that up, and Carrie is saying, Joe is like, I'm not going to kill the squirrel, and he's mad that he killed it. And Carrie's like, okay, well, you know what the rule is. If you have an issue with a bro, you got to fight it out. And he punches Joe in the face. Literally, that's how it happened that fast. So he punched him in the face.
Literally.
Not only did he punch him in the face, then he's yelling him and he's like, hit me back, be a man. And while all of this is happening, because we've said it before, we've gotten flashbacks of Joe getting bullied as a child in the orphanage, and Joe never stood up for himself. He never stood up for his friend that got beat up. And so we're seeing flashbacks while Carrie's yelling at him. Joe is being triggered basically because it's the bullies that were yelling at him. and Joe snaps and hits him and then pushes him off a cliff, and we thought he died.
I for sure thought that man was deceased. I was like, oh hell, Joe, how you gonna what are you gonna say? Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna say?
Yep.
They go down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe is like giving him he's giving chest compressions, and then he goes to almost give him mouth to mouth, and Carrie's like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me."
I mean, he literally did say, "I'm impossible to kill because I've been taking something for 10 years,
some kind of supplement or some shit that he's been taking." And he says he told Joe basically and everybody around who listened, "I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me." Like,
basically,
which is interesting that he said that, because is he gonna get killed?
Which would be hilarious. Because, you know, you said that you can't get killed, and then you get killed.
But you're dealing with the like killer is killer though.
Right. So
you don't know who's in your company.
But the dope thing about this whole wood scene, because at first in my notes, even though it was weird and I wasn't sure exactly what the vibes were going to be because of the language he was using and what he was doing, I did have in my notes that it isn't wrong for him to create an outlet for them, since it seems like suburban life is very boring. You know what I'm saying?
And really not built for the male.
No, it's not. It's very much you just please your wife and do what she wants to do. And I don't know. So I see he wasn't wrong for that. But what really happened is that once Joe snapped, and then Carrie, once we realized he's not dead, he was like, "You are an animal," and embraces that and gives him a hug and accepts Joe for who he is, and Joe starts crying
because he hasn't been able to be himself. Like, he's never been able to be Joe.
And so that was such a beautiful, like real talk. When he said, this is what it feels like to have friends," I almost cried, because it's like, we never seen that side of Joe. I can relate to that, where you feel like you can't really be yourself around the people that are supposed to be your friends, because they'll, you know, make little slick comments or whatever to try to like belittle you, but like in a roundabout way or whatever. And so for him, who's been trying to control these impulses, not kill people, I'm not going to do this, this is not who I am, to thought he killed Carrie, and Carrie saying, "Man, you are an animal. I love it. I'm here for it."
He didn't like get up and like call the cops.
Yeah. And so what we see in that is just the power of the fact that having people accept you, there's such power in that. And when you've had a season, and when you've had a season of, or a lifetime in his case, of not feeling accepted or whatever, and then you finally get that, it can be so healing. And then we see Joe has no more intimacy issues after that. He's coming back. He is putting it down. And his wife calls him an animal, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," and we're gonna have to soundproof the house.
That shit was very funny to me, because obviously Joe can soundproof shit. Right. So basically, you just asked, you put something on his honey-do list, like,
that he can do, and you know he can do it. So it makes him feel like, yes, I can help. You know what I mean? So we have that, and we have
the problem though. The problem with the woods, right? Because we made some breakthroughs. Joe got some homies. This is all great, because going back to the therapy session, that's what he was lacking. So now he has that, but while we are unlocking that part of Joe, we have to know that comes with every part of Joe. And so now that we've unlocked that beast, Joe is back. Joe, like the regular Joe that we originally knew, he is now stalking Marianne.
but he's saying that he's trying to have well, he doesn't say this, but he's trying to do it in a healthy and controlled way. So he's like, I'm not gonna stalk
Taking none of
social
her stuff.
media, no
No keepsakes.
mementos,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just gonna watch her. You know what I mean? Is that going to be enough? Because it sounds like you're a crackhead just trying to smoke a little bit of crack. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather you stalk her social than her actual personal.
I could see why he doesn't want to, because all of those things can be tracked. Like,
That's
Love
true.
can check his browser history. Love will find the keepsake.
That's
Love,
true.
well, whatever. But if he just leaves because he's quote unquote seeing why the alarm went off at the shop,
This nigga
I thought
turned.
Theo broke in because
I did too, and I thought Joe was about to go down there and kill his ass. Like,
same, but no, Joe set this all up so he can have an excuse to leave, so that he can have a healthy and controlled way to stalk Marianne.
So we know last episode they had like a moment, him and Marianne.
Yes, let's go back to her.
Where they felt connected away in the way that they kind of grew up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Marianne is having a full-blown ass conversation with somebody in the library.
Mm-hmm.
Joe walks in, this bitch literally stops her conversation to go and talk to Joe, right? So she goes, she's re-illustrating some things of like classic children's books for like a contest or a school or something like that. And so she's having him sit there like as a like body stand-in for like the picture that she's drawing. And so they're having this conversation, and Joe is just like super into her, like everything about her. The fact that she's into books like he's into books, the fact that they can quote fucking random parts of a book and the nigga know what she's talking about. Like, so this scene is very influential, but didn't mean anything to me until the woods triggered old Joe. Like, I was just taking that situation of them sitting in that room as like a way for him to build upon that relationship in the library. But then, because of what happened in the woods, that conversation and situation now amplified what Joe feels like he needs to do to feel normal.
And the thing about it is, had she remained cold and standoffish towards him, it wouldn't have mattered. But it's when, like you said, they had that moment where she realized that she had been misjudging him. And then she's like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. You're actually pretty dope. And then she starts being nice to him. And we're kind of seeing that build upon that yes, then once he decides to embrace all of himself because of the woods, now it's a problem because it's only episode 5. Like, a lot has happened in this season, and now he's just starting the stalking, like the for real stalking. But it's different. Again, I said this last time, because every other person that's been his obsession, it's been based off instantly, boom. This is the first one that you already kind of had rapport with her, and it's based on a shift in her. So it's like you're like for real interested in her in a different way than we've seen him be interested in anyone. And
it's because we just never saw Joe. Just was, when we first met him, Joe was just stalking, like, so we don't really know what the buildup was, or really, like, he gives us some dialogue about why he chose her, but he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But like we're able to see, like, visually, like, why he's choosing Marianne.
Well, with Love though, that was that's kind of more so what I'm basing it off. I'm assuming Beck was the same, you know. I could be wrong to your point, so you're actually right. We don't really know what led up to Beck, but we did see with Love, it was like from the day they met, he has this interaction and something makes you think. And really what it is, it's that once someone makes him think they're interested, he wants to find out more. And so I think the difference with this is we don't know with Beck, you're right. With Love, she instantly did things that make him think she's interested. Same with Natalie, instantly. But because with Marianne, it took longer, it's still different, but it is based on the vibes. He's very perceptive in reading what's going on. And then he obsesses about it because he's like, I want to know more. 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 Then he finds out they got toxic people in their life. I got to protect. I got to protect. I got to kill. I got to whatever. So, Marianne. It's very interesting because Joe has not killed for Love this season. I could see him killing for Marianne if he feels like or finds out that she has somebody toxic in her life that she needs to be rescued from.
I mean, I definitely can see that, but I also see Theo become a toxic person in Love's life that he may have to eradicate as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about
toxic to their marriage, I should say. Maybe.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, Joe is not trying. Like he's trying to embrace who he is and what he needs. Which, if it wasn't you stalking and being obsessed, it's not a bad thing. Like you do need to have healthy outlets, such as for me, content creating, the different ways that I do it for the podcast versus the company versus blogging. Those are all, I need that. You know what I mean? Like, technically, when we record these on Saturday, it's my quote unquote day off, but this isn't work to me. This is me and Khris having a conversation talking about one of my favorite shows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need that. So he's not wrong to need to embrace who he is, because you are your happiest once you embrace who you are and like can thrive and flourish in that. But it's the fact that you're obsessing over someone who's not your wife and stalking her, which is where it's like, it's bad. And this is where the Woods was like, it's bittersweet because it was great to see him get this breakthrough, as you said earlier. But what came with that unlocked
falling into real bad habits. Specifically when you're married to somebody like Love. I think that this is even more riskier because he's not doing it alone.
Yep.
There's
and Love kills people, and you're not doing it the other ways because you don't want her to find out, because you know what your wife is about, which is the same thing with Love. But Love is playing a dangerous game.
I feel like she doesn't know her husband. Like, those are the vibes she gives me.
I feel like she thinks she needed to save him, but she doesn't realize how he gets down when he feels like he needs to keep somebody toxic out of somebody's life. Yeah, very, very crazy stuff.
But we're talking about toxic. We'll see how long. Are we watching Love turn herself toxic? To him, to their marriage, to what his initial goal.
Think
she's gonna be up out of here.
I think she is.
I see it. With this Theo thing, like Theo coming back and
the Theo thing. Joe, she is the only one that I've seen so far, besides the Woods with Carrie. But she is the only one that I've seen bring out that impulsive aggression in him. You saw the scene. Why he said yes to the Woods is because they were talking. He got loud because I can't remember what she said or did. He hit the wall. We only see that with Love. Before him, we thought killing Carrie, but Carrie like forced that. Carrie literally punched him in the face and said, "Hit me," and kept screaming in his face. That's a little bit different. Love she doesn't do all that, but she triggers Joe. But it's because he's holding, like, he doesn't want to be there. We can't forget that once he found out who she really is, he did not want her anymore. He was actually about to kill her until he found out she was pregnant. And you know what's crazy? Didn't she get back with her ex in season 2? Because I've twice now had this thought, like, what if that's not even his baby?
Yikes. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that.
And what if we find that out, like, something happens where he gets sick again or something to where they find out the blood or so I don't know, because I've had that thought a couple times, like, is that really his baby? Because we don't actually know that.
And with him like getting kind of attached to Marianne now, like, is that going to reawaken how much I don't really like this bitch? Look.
Because he doesn't. That's the thing.
He really doesn't.
Literally only, and this is
He's
why
forcing himself.
You don't stay with somebody you don't want to be with because of
Ooh.
kids. You do not do
It is
that
literally the stupidest thing to do, you guys. Kids are resilient as fuck, and as long as you are keeping their like well-being like number one top priority, you need to do what you need to do. It's literally the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
As a person who did that, it's the stupidest thing in the world.
I did it too, and it's kind of like you don't do that. That's not why and you don't stay with somebody just because, oh, like, let's say you've been married before, and then or maybe you grew up in a household of divorce. You don't stay with someone for any other reason that you actually want to be with them and you want to be committed to that relationship. If that is not the reason that you want to be with them or stay in that marriage or even relationship, you are setting yourself up for failure. And that's what we're seeing Joe do this entire time. He got married, moved. He did. First of all, let's take into consideration the fact that he ain't from Cali. He moved to Cali to escape what he did in New York to Beck, and also trying to escape Candace. So he's still in this foreign land, deeper into it, in this dumb little suburb where thank God they have a library, because otherwise he really hated it. But if you're not someone who's into that, it's not really set up for men. It doesn't seem like
it's really not
at all for them to do anything they enjoy. Like, who?
Which is why they have to go to the fucking woods, like,
and scream and
holler,
hunt
and
fight
each other and shit. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we see Joe so unhappy, and then at the same time, Love is on some bull, and he knows she's on bull. And I think, though, the only reason he doesn't care is, but he may not care about Theo anymore, isn't even about the breakthrough he had in the woods. It's he already had in his mind that, you know what, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I gotta do what's best for me and what I need. I was wrong. I didn't need to. I trust you.
Right.
Knowing damn well, or do you just not care
she's
because
giving you no reason to?
Exactly. And I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting because there's so many twists and turns. Marianne, that came out of nowhere still, and now he's back at it. Like, first he was trying to, no, I don't want to. Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna just smoke a little bit of crack. I ain't gonna smoke the whole crack pipe or whatever they be smoking. I ain't gonna smoke the whole thing. I'm gonna just hit it a little bit. That's like when you have addiction, because it's like he's addicted to doing this. You can't play around with it.
That's very fair to say.
Like, you cannot play around with it, and that's what he's trying to do. And what I think, it'll be interesting because if Love finds out, Love is going to get rid of her. And I wonder how Joe is going to feel about that one. Because with Natalie, he was actually done obsessing over Natalie. Actually, when she tried to get with him, he was over it. Because he's like, nope. Well, for whatever reason, he was over it. You know what I mean? And then once he found out what he found out in her text messages, like, who cares? I don't know what Marianne would do to make Joe be over it. So if Love kills her while he's still on that, we know Theo's gonna go for sure. It's just a matter of when. Sherry, unfortunately, it seems like, well, she's still here right now. You know what I mean? She's still here right now.
But she's not on the top of the list, I don't think, anymore. Like,
I don't even know if she's on the list anymore because her and Love are besties, it seems like.
Speaking of Love, real quick, I feel like we forgot to mention this. So remember we said that her and Theo smash. After
Yes.
Afterwards, he texted her like, "Hey," and she was like, "Never again. Find somebody your own age." So then,
come on through. I forgot about this.
So then she's fucking just in the house and she hears Theo moaning and groaning and hooping and hollering, and she looks outside and this nigga is getting dome from a girl that appears to be his age. And
the backyard.
In the backyard, right where the window is, so Love can see him. And Love is upset.
And he sees her.
Did he see her?
Oh, okay, I'm pretty sure he saw her. Because they don't know how to look out the window, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to really lurk correctly. They know how
Love to put her whole body in the window and closing the curtain behind her.
Right. She sticks her head out the window with the screen off, talking about, nigga, you see me? Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. So he does what she
told him to do.
So toxic, what toxic females do. He did what she told him to do. Find somebody her own age, because never again. And he did that, and now you're mad after you just got done with your husband.
With your own husband that you enjoy thoroughly this time.
Yes. And that's why I have a lot more disgust for Love in all of this, because it's like, Joe, this is who Joe has always been. So Joe has we've seen, as you said in the beginning, him this episode trying to make it work in the way that is best for his family. So we see him, okay, I'm not going to go too far. It's still a dangerous game, but still, I'm not going to go too far. You saw him denying it at first. You know what I mean? You see him doing everything you asked him to do. And that's why he got upset earlier, because he's like, I do everything you asked me to do that he doesn't want to do to make her happy, and it's not enough. And the thing that I know about men is when you make a man feel like what he's doing is not enough, it really affects them on a deeper level than if you make a woman feel like what she's doing is not enough. Because men need to feel like I have what it takes to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do. We want to be seen and not like just physically, I mean like seen. You know what I mean? Am I this, that, and the other? But men need to know, do I have what it takes? So when he's doing everything you're asking him to do, and the stuff you don't even realize he's doing, and you make it seem like he's not enough, that's why he snapped. But you have your husband doing all this, and it's still like, why isn't it enough for you? Why are you with this kid? You trying to tell me that, who knows though? Because at that point, it probably was better with Theo than with Joe, because Joe wasn't into her like that. Then he came back and put it down, and you still worrying about what Theo's doing while he's out there getting some head, getting some head.
Listen, he can't even enjoy what you told him.
Yep, because you told him to do it, and now you mad. What you mad for?
You literally told him to do it.
You literally said never.
Maybe he could have did it in the house.
Maybe he couldn't have, though, because maybe his dad don't want him doing that in the house, or I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose, though, because he's petty like that. But it could be that his dad, like, I've told my kids, if you're going to do what you're going to do, not in my house. Like, you go to their house or wherever you gotta go. Don't do that in my house. Maybe his dad has a rule like that. So technically, he wasn't in the house. But I personally believe he did that on purpose because that's how people do when they're trying to be petty, and he's 19 or whatever. So he's like, oh, I know you want me, but you only won't give into it because you're married, because I know you're not happy, which obviously you're not happy if you're entertaining this, you know.
Clearly.
Excuse me, you know what I mean? So like, I'm gonna do what you say, but I'm gonna let you know that I'm doing it because I know it's not what you really want me to do. That type of white teenage drama that we've seen in One Tree Hill or Dawson's Creek, or Beverly Hills 90210, the first one, because I never watched any of the imposter ones. So it's giving me very much.
Not the imposter ones, though.
Well, they are. If it doesn't have Brenda, Kelly, Dylan, Luke Perry, you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't have them, I don't care about it. But yeah, it's not. So it's giving me very much those vibes. And yeah, love is upset. She's trying to never again. Now Joe is out here saying, you know what? I'm a be what you need me to be, love, but I'm also gonna be what I need me to be.
Yeah.
And I am gotta see more about you, Marianne. You know what I mean?
And
that is Youuuu, season 3, episode 5. I have no ideas. I mean, I'm pretty sure Love's going to get killed the last episode. But Theo's probably going to get killed like episode 9. Or it might even be in episode 10 because she might actually get mad that he kills Theo. And then Joe might get mad that she's mad. And we might see that aggression come. It's definitely not going to be a planned out killing of Love. Because it's going to be something that's like, it just happens, and I feel like that's gonna be like how the season's gonna end. Like that might be the last thing, like the cliffhanger or something. But we shall see. You know what I mean? But this season is so interesting because, as I said, the first episode, we've never seen Joe like in a relationship going through all these things, and there's so many twists and turns. There's so many unexpected things that I'm just like, other than being certain that Love and Theo are going to die, I have no idea what else is going to happen.
I literally don't know.
Because
besides that Marianne about to get stalked. And
yeah. Which I'm still shocked about that, because I thought once Natalie was killed, we weren't even going to see that. But would it be Joe, though, without that? No. So, I mean, good job, writers, though, tricking us into thinking we were done with the Blue Hat Joe. But, of course, he's back. You know what I mean?
You gotta bring Dad Hat Joe back.
Right. So, I guess that's it. I'm trying to make sure we covered everything in my notes. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I have to be honest. I accidentally almost rolled into episode 6 after this.
I almost do it every time. And I think the only thing that saves me is that I record I watch it right before we record, so I can't. But I think what I might start doing is watching it twice. Once to just watch it, and then the second time to take notes, so that I don't know.
That's the all docked up method.
Okay. I gotta get like the professionals. You know what I'm saying?
We watch it once and then we take notes. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start doing that just because I feel like I want to just watch it. You know what I mean? Just to watch it, to enjoy it. But I don't want to not have notes either, and then who knows, there might be something I missed the first time, or I think my notes might be a little bit more organized, maybe. Who knows though, because I ain't gonna promise that part. I'm gonna have my notes though, but yeah, I'll try that next time. I almost rolled into it too, but you know,
It was very hard not to. Like, I literally was like, oh shit, am I watching the next episode?
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think. I guess that's it. So,
Yeah, I think so.
thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Chris's information for all her shows, KOD, all that stuff you can find on her link tree, which is in the episode notes. We will, of course, will be back next week for season 3, episode 6. Maybe Kayliana will be on that one, maybe not. But the plan is to definitely, if you don't know who Kayliana is, that's my oldest daughter. The plan is to definitely get her in on this because she wants to be. She was actually supposed to be here today, but unfortunately her stupid college and all that, trying to advance in life. Like, who does that? Who tries to advance in life? But because of that, you know what I'm saying, she's not here today, but hopefully she can. But either way, if she's not here next week, Khris and I will be here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, tweet at us if you have any thoughts on the episode. Just remember that, as you heard, we have not watched episode 6 yet. We have not watched 7, 8, 9, 10. None of that. We watch one at a time so that we are discovering it as the season's unfolding. And as Khris said from episode 1, Sherry should have been dead this episode. She's not. She could only say that authentically because we didn't really know if she was going to be dead this episode.
Right.
So no spoiler alerts, please, if you do tweet at us. I appreciate those of you who have engaged in conversation with me. And then when I say we haven't watched it, you guys respect that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. We will be back soon, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...